Hi everyone, we're starting Unit 7 with a review of 6th grade standards. So, in Unit 7, we're going to be talking about Lesson 7.1, which is I can find the solution set of an inequality from a graph, and I can graph an inequality solution set. So let's head to the first page. So we start off our Lesson 7.1 inequality review with some things we learned in 6th grade. To start off, what is an inequality? An inequality compares two values. It's usually showing if one is less than or greater than another value. So let's talk about the inequality symbols. And I've already filled this out for you, so pause your video and go ahead and fill these two things out, the definition as well as the definitions of each symbol. So we have our first symbol, open arrow pointing to the right. And the arrow here is pointing to the left. We have an arrow pointing to the right with a line under it and an arrow pointing to the left with a line under it. The arrow pointing to the right with no line under it is our greater than symbol. The arrow pointing to the left with no line under it is our less than symbol. The arrow pointing to the right with a line under it is our greater than or equal to symbol. That line under there means equal to. And the line pointing to the left, the arrow pointing to the left with the line under it is our less than or equal to. Now, I'm also going to give you guys some words or phrases that you can look out for when you see word problems or if you're anywhere in a sentence that will help you indicate whether you're talking about a greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. So I'm going to fill this all in 1 second, and you guys pause your video and fill yours in. Here it is. So for greater than, we have more than, above, bigger than. There are more that you can use, but these are the three you'll see a lot of. For less than, you have smaller than, below, or fewer than. Again, there are more, but these are the ones you'll see a lot of. When you're talking about is greater than or equal to, you can say at least, no less than, minimum, or not below. For less than or equal to, you can say at most, no more than, maximum, and not above. So make sure you get those written down, and I recommend that if you ever see any more and you want to make sure you keep up with it, just keep adding to this list. That way, when you use your test or anything, you can go and check and see where it belongs. So let's go to our first example. So our example 1 says write inequalities. Write an inequality for each situation. So we have our guided practice, which we're going to do together, and the try this is your practice to do and get signed off from a teacher, preferably your math teacher. So the first one says the temperature today will be at most 50 degrees. Well, we can see less than or equal to is at most. So I'm going to use X for all my examples because it's just the one I like the most. So I say X is going to be less than or equal to 50. And that's just saying the temperature will be at the most, no more than, maximum 50 degrees. This one says the temperature tomorrow will be above 70 degrees. Well, when we go look, above was in the greater than. So I'm going to say X is greater than 70 degrees. So then that means it's not going to be 70, it's going to be more than 70. And that's how you write them. So go ahead and you can do it now, or you can wait till the end of the video to go and answer all the try this that are in there. Our next point is on the next page, and it's a definition. It says an inequality may have, and I'm going to fill this all in an instant. You pause your video and fill yours in. And there it is. So it says an inequality may have more than one solution. Together, all of the solutions are called the solution set. So that just means that when we had equations, we had one answer. But in inequalities, you can have a multitude of answers. So let's talk about what that looks like on a graph. So in open circle shows that 5 isn't a solution. So when we have an open circle on a graph, that's telling you that is not a part of your solution. 5 does not count. It doesn't go with it. And we have A is greater than 5. Well, 5 isn't greater than 5, so that makes sense why we wouldn't include it in there. But every number after 5, even 5.1, is greater than 5, so it is included. Oh, and I spelled open wrong. There we go. Now, a closed or a filled-in circle shows that 3, for b less than or equal to 3, is a solution. Let me move this up for you guys. There you go. So we can see we filled in the circle because 3 is less than or equal to 3 because it's equal to. So you include 3 within that number. That solution. It also means all of these numbers after are solutions. -1 is less than or equal to 3. -3 is less than or equal to 3. All of these numbers, including past what our number line shows, because really, if you went to -5, which would be over here, that is also less than or equal to -3. So we just stop at a certain point, but this goes on forever. So these closed circle includes a number, open circle does not. Example 2, graphing inequalities. So again, there's going to be the guided practice we do together on the video, and you guys do the try this on your own and get it signed off by a teacher. So the guided practice says graph the inequality. So we have x is greater than or equal to -2. So I'm going to put a closed circle on -2 because it is included, because it says greater than or equal to. And then I have to find numbers that are greater than -2. Well, I know -4 is less than, but 0 or even 6 is greater than -2. So I'm going to make my arrow going towards those numbers that are bigger than it. And again, you guys think about this like money. You always want to think about it like money. The bigger your negatives get, that means the less money you have. So these are smaller numbers versus going towards the right are going to be your bigger numbers. Smaller numbers, bigger numbers. So let's do the next one. We have 5 less than, or x less than 5. So we're going to make our open circle because it doesn't say equal to, it says less than. So an open circle at 5, and then I'm going to pick all numbers less than. Well, 0 is less than 5, but 6 is not less than 5. And I always pick one number on the left and one number on the right. 6 is greater than, that doesn't fit. But 0 fits, so I'm going to make my arrow going to the left because the numbers to the left work. And that's it. That's pretty much simple. So you're going to go ahead and do the try this. Again, you can pause the video and do it now, or you can go ahead and do it at the end of the video. Going on to example 3, write an inequality from a graph. So write a solution for each graph. So we have a graph here. So we need to remember a closed circle means that it is included. So I know it's going to have an equal sign. Well, at 5, all of these numbers are smaller than 5, so I know this is going to be a less than. All the numbers are less than 5, so we're going to say x less than or equal to 5. Versus over here, I have an open circle at -1, so I know my number is going to be -1 no matter what, because that's where it's at. I know it's not going to have an equal sign because it doesn't include -1. And if I look at the numbers at -1, these are all numbers that are bigger than -1. So I know it's going to be a greater than symbol. So I'm going to say x, all my x's are greater than -1. And that's my answer. It's that simple, guys. You look at what point you have, what number you have is going to go on there. Is it open or closed? Depends on what symbol you're going to say. And are the numbers smaller or bigger? Smaller is going to be less than, bigger is going to be greater than, and that's how it works. So go ahead and answer these or by pausing your video or doing it at the end. Last example, we have numbers within a solution set. So we talked about what a solution set was, and that's all the numbers that make that inequality true. So we're going to circle the possible values that satisfy each inequality. On the guided practice, we'll do these 3 together, and then you guys do the try this and get it signed. So on the first one, we have x is less than or equal to 5. So we need any numbers that are less than or equal to 5. Well, 5 is equal to 5. 7 is greater than, so it doesn't work. 8 is greater than, so it doesn't work. But 2 is less than, so it does work. And those are the 2 solutions that satisfy the inequality. Versus we have 11 is greater than x, so all our numbers should not be any bigger than 11. And it shouldn't include 11 because it doesn't say equal to, it says 11 is greater than x. Well, if I plug these numbers in, 11 is not greater than 11, so that one doesn't work. 6 is not greater than 11, so that does work. We want numbers that are not greater than 11. So it says 11 is greater than 6, yes. 11 is greater than 10, yes. 11 is greater than 9, yes. So all 3 numbers except for 11 work. So now the last one, we plug in our numbers for x. So it's saying 5 is greater than or equal to 6. Is that true? It is not, so we don't use that one. 2 is greater than or equal to 6. Doesn't work, so we cross that one out. 6 is greater than or equal to 6. Well, it's equal to, so that one works. And 4 is greater than or equal to 6. It is not, so that one also does not work. And that's all you're doing is checking to see which numbers work and which ones do not. Try this on your own and go ahead and get that sign. Have a good one.